One of the most exciting things about watching a mural unfold is literally the transformation of the space.
Dang, this is so fire. Okay, we're gonna go over here. Check this out. Okay, interesting. That's like the most realistic depiction out of the whole exhibit. That's very cool. He's got the shadows and everything down. It's so dope. What's it called?
The title of the mural is Illusionary Odyssey.
Illusionary Odyssey.
It's a long journey, and I have shown a lot of ups and downs and positive places and the negative places.
I definitely get the Odyssey vibe. This place is trippy as hell.
I have to be honest, I don't think I really had a full breadth of the concept just from looking at the design. We knew it was this bird of paradise moving from its creation form and trying to find its path to its forever home. But it really wasn't until I got into this space that I started understanding that universal mythology.
What I have shown here on the walls is a journey of a bird. It shows that the bird is getting born and it comes into this world. And the Odyssey is like it's continuing its journey, flying from space to some other place, dimension to other dimensions. I have created a lot of loopholes, and that's how it's learning what's positive, what's negative. In the end, it searches for a home, and that makes that bird a very responsible bird in the end. And I want people to connect with it, with their journey.
You have these amorphic forms that are jutting out, very spiky. They look dangerous, speaking to the challenges that we have. But there's also things like the golden star and the open air windows and sky. And these are all things that point to the hope or the bigger picture that's around you, the reasons why you're on this path.
The first thing when I came in, it reminded me of like a prog rock album cover. So I get that vibe of like trippy, you know, self-reflection, going through your own journey, birds, you know.
Is this bird gonna stay on the path to its final home, or is the bird gonna fly out the window? And that was really important to Avinash, that we had the ceiling painted blue so it could have this sense of openness to the rest of the world around you. You're not trapped in a cage.
What came first, the composition or the theme? I approached it definitely like in a more graphic design-y sense, because there's like so many different elements. The layout of the room is unique.
When they sent me the pictures, I was very interested because it's an enclosed space and it's a very narrow space. My work is based on illusions. I thought, why not give it a try and make everything a loop, seeing the perspective and everything. It's a challenge for a viewer. They don't know how is it happening.
The process to achieve that kind of illusion often involves painting in layers, so that you're creating that sense of depth and space, the nuances and color tonalities. And that's a very traditional painting technique.
So what I do is I use 6 layers of colors on the wall to make it more vibrant.
Only 6? That's wild.
So I'll be using Wagner spray. That's the general water-based color, because you can use as lot of paint and you can change the colors. In the end, I'll be using a lot of spray cans, like to give the highlight, to do a base tone, or to give a shadow. So I use a lot of shadow cans and everything to pop it out.
His use of light and shadow is just like, I think that's really what's doing it for me. You get such a nice sense of depth.
When I'm doing a mural on a wall, I see a lot of references on my phone, like the color, the shade should match. So I mix it till I get the same exact shade which I am seeing on my phone. So that's how, like, whatever I have designed, I get like the 100% of it on a wall.
I personally haven't worked with an artist that uses both acrylic and house paints and spray paint in the way he does. You usually can tell the spray paint has a very distinct characteristic when artists use it, whereas Avinash is using it to get very smooth airbrushing effects that if you didn't know what you were looking for, you wouldn't necessarily think he was using a spray can.
I'm guessing he's masking it with tape because the lines look artificial. Dang.
When we were preparing for Avi to come, we had to have a lot of conversations about what he would need environmentally to do what he needed to do. And right away there were some concerns about whether or not we would be able to control airflow, because an artist like him is used to working outside.
So when I'm painting outside, the paint dries very fast. And I can do the process much more faster than the interior works.
In a museum, it's very different. It's climate controlled. We had to completely quarantine this corridor off so that any of the spray fumes, particles, what have you, wouldn't go into other areas of the permanent collection. Then we had to bring in equipment to help regulate that humidity issue and temperature issue so that he could work in the way that he needed to work. The Mural Arts program here at MAG started in 2014. Having done 4 artists already, we felt primed and ready to start reaching beyond our own borders. One of our own patrons, Dr. Vikram Dogra, who has the Dogra Art Foundation, came to us and suggested that we take a look at some of the street artists in India, and Avi's work really stood out.
I'm a good friend of Vikram Dogra, Dogra Art Foundation, on social media. He used to see my work and used to appreciate it a lot. And yeah, that's how I got to know about the Memorial Art Gallery project. And he invited me, Avinash, if you are interested in doing it. I was like, that's the best thing. And they told me to like get free and do whatever you want. That was very amazing.
The other reason why it's really important to expand beyond our local border is it puts the context of our local and regional artists into that global conversation.
So I grew up in Ranchi, Jharkhand. It's in India, and I completed my studies in Gujarat. So when I was in art school, I used to draw on like big surfaces like papers, canvases and all. I saw a lot of artists who were doing murals on the walls. That was very interesting for me because you can use as much of space, you can use a lot of colors. So I started volunteering with international artists who came to India, and it was very fascinating for me.
Avinash had to really jam-pack his days, 12, 13-hour days, to create this mural in a 3-week period. He works really, really hard. His professionalism, unmatched.
And Memorial Art Gallery, it's an amazing space. The faculty helped me a lot to complete this mural.
Avi needed a lot of support to create this project because he's coming from another country, getting an incredibly detailed list of the materials that he was going to need, the equipment that he was going to need, and that was really up to us to be able to gather that for him, get it here, and get it set up. So when he came, he was ready to go. And beyond just the materials, does he need food? Does he need a break? Does he need a ride somewhere? Do you need to go out and have some fun? We can do that. We're a lot of fun here. We can definitely do that.
Is this your first mural in the United States?
Yeah, this is my first mural in the United States.
Is it your first visit to the United States?
Yes, this is my first visit in the United States.
I'm trying to see if I left any marks from when I did it.
There is definitely history on this wall. There are 4 other murals underneath this. These walls do not get stripped when we're done. They become resurfaced in a way. We smooth them out and paint goes over it. But if you were to do imaging on these walls, you would see the various layers of other murals. So I think there's kind of an archaeological thing that happens there.
When I first came into the mag and I saw that they primed it over with the white, you kind of start like reflecting on the fleeting nature of it. You just kind of accept that like you're part of the mag's history, and it's just kind of like a timestamp, a snapshot of where you were at the time.
It really is a stamp of our time and place. And then when the next project comes, it becomes a stamp of that time and place.
So again, that's like another really cool thing about coming back here. It's just like, you really get back into the headspace of where you were when you were first doing it. I'm just excited for him because I'm sure he's gonna do the same thing and his style's gonna switch up. And he's gonna look back at this and be like, this is really cool, and it's cool to see, you know, where he's gone from there.
This was the first museum project that he's ever done. Not only was this huge for us because we were expanding into working with an international artist, but it was big for him because this was something that he's been really wanting to do.
So I would like to thank Hurlbut Gallery and Togura Art Foundation for this amazing project. It was a dream for me because I wanted to paint somewhere in USA. It was amazing and I loved it.